This is, from every respect, this is a great opportunity for us. The place-wise is the place where the Buddha Shakyamuni attained enlightenment, and in terms of the class, the practice that we're doing is the bodhicitta, the unconditional love, which is the most beautiful mind that possibly exists in this universe, and we're doing that. And so they let us make the most of our being together here. And I know that most of us are from another master's course, and so particularly why we are doing this retreat is for people, of course, one, for the people to get the overall picture of the Buddha's teachings, and that too related to one's own life, how to apply this to one's own life. Then the next point is that once you come to know, intellectually you know that this is a very precious system, a practice which is of great meaning and relevance to my life. Then how to apply this, like taking the dose of medicines every day. So how to apply this in your life. This is again something extremely important. And for this matter, how to do this on a daily basis. What we are doing here in the morning. In the mornings, like today, tomorrow, maybe we need a little bit of explanation here and there. And from day 3 or day 4, it's going to be like full-fledged practice, and particularly taking the aspiration bodhisattva vow. It may happen from day 3 or day 4, but tomorrow we are actually going to the Mahabodhi temple, to pay respect to the Buddha there, and to have the blessings from the seat on which the Buddha attained enlightenment, under the Bodhi tree. So this is what we're going to do tomorrow. That we have to check with Nicola. We can check with the what is SPC tomorrow, what time we go there. And then then going to Rajgir and Nalanda. So this will happen closer towards the end of the retreat, because we need to learn how to take the aspiration bodhisattva vow to make the most of our being there. So we require minimum like 3-4 days of practice of the bodhicitta, taking the aspiration bodhisattva vow, and then we can go there. Okay. So with this in mind, I hope you all have this book with you, and be it hard copies or soft copies. Okay. As the great Tibetan masters say, that the virtues that we do, we should keep in mind 2 things. In terms of setting the mind, setting the mind in the beginning and setting the mind in the end. It says in the beginning, set the mind by creating a good motivation. So let us create a good motivation, and just let us try to think of the following points. And as I explained to you, just try to flow with the meaning, and don't just go in your own meditation. Then the whole purpose is defeated. If you want to do your own meditation, then that you can do in your room. But here we are learning something to make it rich, to give an edge to this, to a practice, to make it rich. What kind of reflections to include it? And this is what we have to keep in mind. So sometimes the tendency is that when there is somebody just talking, without any interaction happening. Your mind also just flows without reflecting on the meanings. So if the meanings is not reflected, and then the point is defeated. Okay, so with this mind, just sit upright properly. And they visualize Buddha Shakyamuni, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas. And how you visualize them, that they are so loving, caring, and embracing. And Bodhicitta field, again, what to visualize and how to visualize. You visualize your two kind parents with you, even though some of you might have difficulty with your parents, but so here, these 7 days retreat, we're trying to transcend, overcome our sense of difficulty with your parents. And then all your family members, including children, and everyone here in Bodh Gaya, including animals, insects, hungry ghosts, hell beings, god and goddesses, spirits, and everyone in India, in your own country, in the entire world, in the entire universe. And here you are like the very loving mother, taking care of each and every one of the beings there. And number 3, the purpose of this practice. We all have this, the seed of perfection. This seed of perfection, we call it as the Buddha nature. We all have this Buddha nature. Whether you are a believer or not, male, female, Buddhist, non-Buddhist, from this country or from another country, everybody seeks to attain, they seeks to get away from miseries, and they seeks to have the maximum happiness. And the seed of these two is so very intact within each one of us. And this seed, like the gold, when mixed with mud, you don't see the gold there. What the nature of the gold is to glow, but it doesn't glow because it is with mud. Ordinary people may see that this is just ordinary mud. They will dump it, but the gold experts will not dump it, will see gold there, and will prove that there's gold there by removing the mud from the gold, and the gold inside gradually starts to glow. So this is like the Buddha nature, seed of perfection within us, also referred to as the Tathagata Garbha. So, and of course we're going to learn how it is true. We will try to learn, whatever we learn, make it a point that we get conviction in, and these are going to what we learn in more detail in the classes to come. Okay, so the motivation is to remove the mental defilement so the goal inside will manifest, and this goal is the goal of the fearlessness, technically referred to as nirvana, and the infinite happiness, technically referred to as Buddhahood. Buddhahood doesn't mean that you become a Buddhist. It simply means that your seed of perfection manifests fully, that you become the totally fearless person and the infinitely happy person, where you're able to benefit yourself in the complete form and to give the maximum benefit to other sentient beings. So this is the purpose. For that matter, we need to know how to remove the mental defilements. And for this, what we said is that the two wings of the bird to cross the ocean of samsara, the two wings are the wing of the wisdom, the wisdom to see the reality as it is, the emptiness nature, which we never have even thought about it before, and on the other side, the wing of the compassion, the highest level of which is bodhicitta. So the purpose here is to inform the enlightenment, Buddha Shakyamuni here, just as you have become Buddha, and just as you have a sheer love that each one of us, we are freed from the miseries, that we experience the infinite happiness. And this we can do only by emulating your the path that you tread on. And so with this in mind, let us turn to page 3 and imagine that you are leading this practice and all beings are joining you in this practice. Page 3. Page 3. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Sanye joda zoge jonam la chanjo bardo dami gyabsu je dage jinso kebe sonam dola penjir sanye jubare sho sanye joda zoge jonam la chanjo bardo dami gyabsu je dage jinso kebe sonam ge dola penjir sanye jubare sho sanye joda soge chonam chanjo bardo dani gyarso che dage jinso kebe sonam ge dola penjir sanye jubare sho. And the Tibetan verse, the non-Tibetans, I just like to quickly explain the word, and so that you will know when you read the Tibetan, it makes some sense to you. Otherwise, it's totally, meaning it's like an echo. Okay, Sangye is the Buddha. Sangye. Che is Dharma. Tang, Sangye, Che, Tang. Tang is and. Sang, Che, Tang. Tsok. Tsok is like tsok is like gathering, collection, accumulation. So here is gathering. Tsok, ki is the linking word. Chok. Chok is supreme. Page 4. Page 4. Page 4, the first. Sangye Buddha, Che Dharma, Tang is and, Tsok is gathering, Ki is of, the linking word of, Chok is supreme, Namla is to these supreme of the assembly, to these beings in the supreme of the assembly, referring to the Sangha, the companions, the good companions, virtuous companions. Sangye Chodan So Changchup is enlightenment. Changchup is enlightenment. Pardu is till that point, till attaining enlightenment. Pardu, Dag is I. Ni is again the linking word. Kyapsuchi is go for refuge. Kyap is refuge. Suchi is go for refuge. I go for refuge till enlightenment or till Buddhahood. Third line, Dak, again same, I. Ki is the linking word, I will, Ki is linking word. Jin is generosity, giving. Sok is etc. Jin sok. Kiba is done. Tsok, same thing again. Tsok is like accumulation. Namki is the with these namki. So in total it says that by the generosity and by the accumulation of generosity and so forth, which I did. Then last line, Do is the migrators or the sentient beings. Do. La is 2 or 4. Do la. Pen is benefit. Pen is benefit. Chir is for the sake of, in order to or for the sake of. Penchir. Sangye is Buddha. Dupa is accomplish, attain. Dupar. Shok is may I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of sentient beings. Okay, this is meaning. We'll say this once more together. Sanje joda zoge jonam la chanjo bado dane jabzo je dage jinso kebe sonam ge jola benjir sanje jubare shom sanje joda zoge jonam la chanjo bado dane jabzo je dage jinso kebe sonam ge Dola benjire sanje dubare shom sanje joda zoge chonam la chanjo bardo dane gyabzo che dage jinso kebe sonam ge dola benjire sanje dubare shom. Okay, there are some verses which are very technical, which we will which will make sense to us only after explaining emptiness. So for example, the verse here, independent origination, there is no seasonal arising, which we're going to read, and this is extremely technical and very profound. This will come only after the emptiness, and I want somebody to remind me to explain this verse later on. So raise your hands, those who like to volunteer to remind me later on. Okay, Gabor. Number 2, number 3, and 4. Okay, so you know why I'm asking them to raise their hands. With the completion of the retreat, if I fail to explain this, I'm not responsible. Right? Okay, so you have to identify who these are. Raise hands. Raise hands. 1, and here 2, 3, 4. Okay. Okay, but we'll read them, and some of the verses require a little bit of, we should be a little patient, at least like 2, 3, 4. But this verse will come towards the last, meaning like the 4th or 5th day, 5th, and perhaps even 6th it can be, because it's very technical, and it'll come to us after getting a complete picture of what emptiness is. Okay, we'll say this together. Independent origination, there is no ceasing, no arising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no going, no separateness, no sameness. I prostrate to the consummate Buddha, the supreme of all teachers, the one who taught this peace which was free of elaborations. I prostrate to the mothers of the hearers, the Bodhisattvas and the Buddhas, which through the knowledge of all lead here seeking pacification to complete peace, which through the knowledge of past courses souls have been to achieve aims of the world, and through the possession of which helps subdue and expound a variety of teachings. The one who has transformed into the reliable guide, motivated by altruism to benefit sentient beings. The teacher, Sugata and protector, to you are my prostrations. The one who has eliminated the web of conceptualizations and is endowed with the divine bodies of the vast and the profound, who eternally shines forth the forever noble light rays, to you the Buddha make prostrations. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. Okay, next is the verse. I'm going to explain this here. This verse is extremely important, the mantra. We're going to recite this together. But before this, I'm going to explain this. Om, it is the Om is something common to Buddhism, Hinduism, Jainism, and this Om, of course, how this is interpreted can differ. Here, in the context of Buddhism, Om is the language-wise, linguistically speaking, it is constituted of 3 letters. This syllable Om is constituted of 3 letters, A, U, Ma. And these 3 letters, A, U, Ma, combined together, it becomes Om, not Om. And these 3 letters, they symbolize your body, special mind, of course, which are defiled now at the moment. And it also, these 3 letters also symbolize your body, special mind when you become fully enlightened. When you become fully enlightened. When you Buddha nature, when your seed of perfection becomes manifest fully. So that is where your body becomes divine, without any the drawbacks, without any limitations. At the moment, our body is so prone to aging, sickness, death, pains, and when the true nature of yourself, the Buddha nature manifests, then your body will also manifest as the fully radiant, without any of these limitations and the drawbacks. The speech at the moment is so rough, and it can offend others so easily, and without the intention to offend others, your speech is so rough that it can easily offend other people. When you become enlightened, your speech becomes extremely pleasant to hear. Anybody who hears the voice, your speech, everybody will just go into peace. So this is a speech that you're going to attain. And your mind, at the moment, our mind is extremely coarse, and it can easily go into anger, jealousy, craving, fear, and so forth. And when the true nature of mind becomes manifest, you forever remain in the form of infinite wisdom, infinite compassion, infinite power, and this is infinitely pure. So this is what we aspire when we say that may I become Buddha, which means that my body should become the Buddha's body, my speech should become the Buddha's speech, and my mind should become the Buddha's mind. Okay, so Buddha's mind, when you recite Om, this should remind us that my body, speech, mind should not remain as ordinary forever. I must put effort to make these three things transform into that of the body, speech, mind of the enlightened one. In other words, that you become a Buddha. That is the Om. The next question is how. So, ye dharma hetu prabhava, ye dharma, these dharma, phenomena, this phenomena, hetu, cause, hetu is cause, prabhava, arise. These dharma referring to the happiness that we are seeking, the miseries which we shun, happiness and miseries we shun, they don't arise randomly. They don't arise out of some purely out of accidental or external factors, through their corresponding causes. Ye dharma hetu prabhava. They arise from the causes. Hetu is the cause, prabhava arise. They arise from their causes. Hetum tesham tathagato hyavatat. Hetum is the plural form of cause, the cause. Hetum is the plural form of cause. Hetum tesham. Tesham is the whatever. Okay, these hetum, these causes, tathagato. Tathagata is the one who has gone to the ultimate, one who has gone to the suchness or ultimate, referring to the Buddha. These causes, tathagato hyavatat. Hyavatat is taught. What these causes are is taught by the Tathagata, and particularly in the context of your miseries. Your miseries, the sadness, the pains, the anxiety, stress, and the sickness, aging, death, they arise. What are the causes of these are indicated or taught by the Tathagata. Tesham chayo nirutan. These, chayo is whatever. Whatever of chayo is whatever. Whatever of these meaning referring to the earlier the cause of the sufferings. Whatever these causes of suffering are, nirodha, cessation, can be brought to an end. Cessation, brought to the cessation. The evam is thus. Thus, vadi again is taught. Vadi, mahashramana, the great. Maha is the great. Shramana is the seer or the saint. Whatever of these causes of the miseries, how to stop whatever the causes of the miseries is thus taught by the great seer. Okay. In other words, in this mantra, we are not expect some miracles. When you recite this mantra, some miracles happen, then your business transaction goes so well. No, you don't expect this. This should serve as a mirror. So those things like the mundane activities, mundane deeds, so that we should succeed by ourselves. Those things which we cannot do, like planning for your future lives, the well-being of your future. So this life somehow, we have all taken birth as a human being. We have already met with the Dharma. We have something to eat, shelter, to cover us. We already have these. But what about next life? We never know. It's not that because that we are born with such a facilities in this life, so next life is going to be guaranteed. No, there's no guarantee there. For example, a young child under the care of the parents, so well looked after, there's all the facilities there, but it doesn't guarantee that when the child is age 20, 30, 40, 50, then the child will be, forever like this. We never know. The child of a very rich family, towards the end of his or her life, can become really a pauper, can really become a beggar because of the lack of one's own competencies. So the point is that, although we have such a good opportunity in this life, born as a human, with all the senses intact, the facilities, everything there, but next life we are not sure. So, how to have ourselves beyond this point, next life, and after, till Buddhahood. So for this require a great help, the guidelines. So these mantras should be used as a mirror for us, how to see ourselves and how to shape ourselves in the future. So this is what we need to remember, and reciting this, okay, all the problems that I go through are because of the causes. What are the causes? External factors and internal factors. So of course, we're going to discuss in more detail in our classes. Then how to bring an end to these causes so that my miseries will stop. These are taught by the Buddha. For us not to follow blindly what the Buddha taught, and for us to subject them to analysis to see if they make sense to us. And then once they make sense to us, our job is to go ahead to practice them. Okay, we'll recite this the 3 times together, and there are many of us who already know how to recite this, and those of us who are totally new to the programs, the Bodhicitta retreat or Nalanda studies. If you have no clue to any of these, then let's listen to the chant and join us. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham dathagato hyavatat desham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham dathagato hyavatat desham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tathagato hyavatat desham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. all phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation causes as well is taught by the great seer. Okay, this verse, profound, peaceful, elaboration free. This is a verse which the Buddha taught or said when the Buddha was made the request by Indra and Brahma to turn the wheel of Dharma. Turn the wheel of Dharma means give teachings. It is the technical word, and it is said that this is when Indra and Brahma, seeing that the Buddha, after becoming enlightened under the Bodhi tree for 49 days, he remained silent without giving any teachings, and Indra and Brahma, they were a little, uneasy because that the Buddha, the Prince Siddhartha, became enlightened to teach this wisdom to other beings, and then finally, after attaining becoming enlightenment, they became enlightened. Not remaining teaching, they're just remaining there, not teaching at all. They were, no, this should not happen. The Prince Siddhartha, now revered as the Tathagata Buddha, he must start to give teachings. So two of them descended, and Indra offered the conch to the Buddha, as symbolic of requesting the Buddha to blow the conch of the Dharma to the beings. And Brahma offered the wheel, symbolic of requesting Buddha, please turn the wheel of Dharma. So this is why all these teachings are referred to as the turning, the first turning, the second turning, third turning of the wheel of Dharma. Okay. And then the Buddha uttered this verse, profound, peaceful, elaboration free. In other words, what the Buddha said is that the path, the truth that I've discovered is so profound. And once you discover it, you can feel the absolute peace within you. Seeing this reality, you can feel the absolute peace. But it's so profound that we don't find anybody who can fathom the depth of this teaching. In silence, I'll return to the words. This is what the Buddha indicated. And the Brahman and Indra made more requests to the Buddha, please don't remain silent, please turn the Buddha Dharma. Then with this request, then the Buddha headed towards Sarna, Varanasi from here. It took a long time. For us, on bus, how long did it take you? 4 hours, 5 hours? 6 hours? Yeah. So, yes, 6 hours. So the Buddha, walked all the way from here to Varanasi. It might have taken, of course, the Buddha did perform the miracles, but oftentimes the Buddha's activities, they are mostly like how the ordinary people behave, meaning that walking, not like instantly appearing, showing up oneself, then sarna, not like that, walking to set example for us. Then dharma is not something that we can easily accomplish. That to be enlightenment is not something that we can accomplish very easily. This is something where we really need to be committed and put effort. So he set an example for us. Okay, so with this mind, Buddha, they turned towards Sarnath, and there the first turning wheel of Dharma happened. So this we're going to explain study more detail in the actual classes. Okay, with this mind we'll say this together. Profound, peaceful, elaboration free, clear-lighted, non-composite. Such is nectar-like Dharma I have discovered. Finding no one who can fathom this teaching, in silence I'll return to the woods. Beyond utterance, thought and expression is the perfection of wisdom, which is unborn, unceased, and has the nature of space. Is the object of apprehension of self-realized wisdom. To you, the mother of the Buddhas of the three times are the obeisance. The four seeds of Buddha's teachings. All composite things are impermanent. All contaminated things are the nature of suffering. All phenomena are the nature of emptiness and selflessness. Transcending sorrow is peace. The Guru is the Buddha, the Guru is the Dhamma, likewise the Guru is the Sangha. The Guru is the source of everything wholesome. I go for refuge in the Guru. By the sound of the vibrant drum of Dharma, you liberate all beings of miseries. I beseech you to kindly remain and give teachings until the end of the expanse of billions of eons. The Buddha does not watch the negativities of beings, nor does he remove their miseries by his hands. His spiritual realizations are not transferred to them. It is by teaching the truth of the suchness that the beings are liberated. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered miseries glow. If attached to this life, you are not a spiritual practitioner. If attached to samsara, you have no renunciation. If attached to your own self-interest, you have no bodhicitta. If there is grasping, you do not have the view. Okay, let us turn to page 14. Praise to Shakyamuni Buddha. Okay, as you read the praise to Shakyamuni Buddha, let us keep in mind that when we say the praises to the Buddha, it is not that only when we praise, the Buddha will be very pleased and then will bless you. This is not the quality. This is an extremely naive understanding of the purpose of reading these the praises. Instead, that the praise to Buddha Shakyamuni means indicating that Buddha, you have these qualities. When you cite the qualities of Buddha, on the basis of which you praise the Buddha, just see if some of these qualities are within you. You do have some of these. Rejoice. Rejoice in the fact that you have these good qualities. It is by cultivating these good qualities that you become enlightened. That your Buddha nature will become manifest fully. That you become enlightened the way the Buddha, the Prince Siddhartha, became enlightened. And if you don't have these qualities, but keep in mind that we all have, no doubt we all have the seeds of these qualities, compassion, wisdom, and so forth, and just try to identify the qualities with which the Buddha is being praised. And then, if you don't have these qualities, we need to learn how to cultivate these qualities freshly, newly, and then try to germinate them fully, that your Buddha nature becomes manifest. And in the first verse, it says that when, O supreme amongst humans, you were born in this you pay of seven strides, and then said, I'm supreme in this world. So this is something that we need to see the greatness of the Buddha, that, not that the Buddha you flew, yes, the Buddha performed many miracles, but this is not how we praise the Buddha. Somebody performing miracles, so what do you get? Okay, the person perform miracles, but what do you get from this person performing the miracles? No, you don't get anything. Even if the person performs. Yes, at the time the Buddha, on the 15th day of the first month of the lunar calendar, and the Buddha, the instigation of the non-Buddhist, meaning in those days they got contemporary teachers, some religious teachers. They were so jealous of the Buddha's, the popularity and the fame, and they thought that he was just a prince. What does he know? Because of his being the prince, that everybody is following him as a great saint. Actually, he's not a saint at all. So out of great jealousy, they tried to come to compete with the Buddha. And they said that, they say, people so blindly follow you, and you were just nobody. You were like another, just as the prince. That's it. And we like to prove that you are not a saint. So they invited the Buddha for competition, and the Buddha accepted the challenge. Buddha accepted, and then they fixed the date. Of course, in those days, people did not have the things to be digressed, to be distracted with the gadgets and so forth. So the people, they go more inward, negatively, positively, whatever, right? So nowadays people go into the gadgets outside, positively, negatively, both ways. In those days, no gadgets, so therefore go inwardly, positive, negative. So these teachers, They were very negative competition. By spending so much of time to direct one's mind inward, and then become so jealous, competitive of the Buddha. And the Buddha accepted the challenge, and they set the date. And on that date, Buddha again disappeared. Buddha did not show up. The Buddha didn't show up, and they became even more. The ego inflated even more. Again, they rushed to track. To find where the Buddha was. Again they found the Buddha, and they tried to accuse the Buddha, insulted the Buddha, saying that you're such a weak person, you accept the challenge, now you disappeared. And again they said that we must compete. And the Buddha said yes. And then set a date and a place. Again on that date, again the Buddha disappeared. It happened like 3 times. And finally on the 15th day of the first month of the lunar calendar, then the Buddha was there, and then they started to compete. And they competed with these contemporary teachers. They were all about the miracle things. They don't really have these profound teachings. So otherwise, debates later on with another masters, there was a custom of debating as a competition, debating with the thoughts. By the time the Buddha is primarily like miracle competition, and they those other teachers, they started show up. They created like the miracle, the magical illusion of so many things, and the Buddha's turn to show even better than this, and then actually, it's just a magical creation. Magical creation was there, depending on the degree of the power of your magical power, then one can actually override the other side. So finally, the manifestations, they really scared the 6 of these teachers, and they were being chased away by these magical illusions. They chased away. They were so scared that all these teachers, they ran away. Okay, so Buddha did perform so many miracles in his life, but as a basic instruction of Buddha to his followers is that even if you have attained medical powers, you have to keep them confidential, not to disclose them. And the Buddha's is more to disseminate the wisdom rather than to show your the medical abilities. The reason is that people are easily swayed by the miracle. If there is somebody performing miracles and somebody giving teachings on wisdom of emptiness, and the people will be all going towards the miracle part, right? And at the end they don't get anything. They are left with wow, that's it. They only have the word wow. And what they did, what each one did, they don't get anything. Whereas the other side, they get the wisdom. They learn. Then eventually they become the full enlightened one. But the people will be happy to go towards that direction. So the Buddha said, don't do that, don't perform miracles unless and until the situation arises where the other person can greatly be benefited by your miracle power, miracle performance. You accept it, you are exempted to perform it. Otherwise, you are not allowed to perform the miracles. Okay, and also that when you get some spiritual siddhis or spiritual powers, the Buddha said that don't display these powers. You have to keep them confidential. Why? Because that if you say that, if you reach, for example, say, Paragati, Parasamgati, part of seeing, part of meditation, and so forth, and then you proclaim your qualities, then many people follow you. They follow you, and the people, they follow you. And not only they follow you, then the people will just some committee people, they give you everything, their wealth, whatever. And then many other people can see this happening, and they will also falsely claim that I also have attained these qualities, and then they can create some kind of group is actually sharing but some pretend as the great master, and others pretend as the students, and the students, they try to inflate, saying that this, our master is so great, and so forth. And then many people, followers come, they give their wealth, so just mundane wealth accumulation. So these can be abused by the other people, many other corrupted people. So the Buddha advised not to perform miracles, not to disclose your spiritual qualities unless and until necessary. Where you meet with somebody else who will be so inspired to see that you have actually reached this level, that level, and so forth. To these people you can. Otherwise, keep it very confidential, low profile. This is what the Buddha indicated. Okay. So the Buddha was born, and as such, just like one day, he took 7 steps. How many of you took 7 steps when you were born? Or you were just helpless like a piece of meat, right? We're all like a small piece of meat, right? And anybody picks you up, become totally helpless. But the Buddha, just day 1, he was born, he just took 7 steps. And he started to speak, saying that, I'm here to save the world. And it is not to save the world like, but they made some proclamation and then finally nothing happened. No, he then went through all the toils. He went through the 6 years of the austerity and left the palace, years of austerity, just to set an example for us. And then finally, the meeting with the true teachers, and finally under the Bodhi tree here, then become enlightened. So all these, as a prince, he left everything. In fact, there was one mischievous person on a television. He said something interesting. He was actually interviewed with, like panel discussion with some prominent guru in India, right? And he's an atheist. And they took turn to make their own presentations, the prominent guru and him. And he said that, I really like Gautama. He being atheist, no respect. What he could see, what he could sense, he believed in this. So he said, I really like this Gautama. Gautama means the Buddha Shakyamuni. I really like him because he left the palace and went to forest. Nowadays people come from the forest, went to the palace. Nowadays gurus, they left the palace, they left the forest and entered the palace, create palace. Gautama left the palace and went to forest. I like this. You can watch that. So the atheists against, the title is like atheists and atheists against something like this. So that's very true. It's amazing. So this is the Buddha. So in other words, Buddha encouraged the wisdom. Buddha encouraged the compassion. Compassion, wisdom, and not the miracles. But miracles, are they bad? No. Eventually, many people can be benefited by the miracle powers. Without miracle powers, they are not ready to listen to your wisdom. They are not ready to listen to your compassion. Whereas, with the miracle power, then they are ready. They see you as different. Then when you say something, they will listen to you. In fact, people, because of this, the Buddha's mind, the Buddhas are referred to as the one who knows the proclivities of the people, predispositions, the tendencies, the temperaments, the interests of the people as they are. So those days when I was as a student, when I was studying all these things, these are the descriptions of the Buddha's qualities. And later on, when I started to meet so many people, then I realized that, wow, this is amazing. People, if there are 100 people, there are 100 different ways of thinking. And then another country, another 100 sets of 100 different thinking. Different thinking. Some very complicated, some extremely gentle, some extremely complicated, some intelligent, not, for no reason being very negative. Some not intelligent, very negative. Some not intelligent, very positive. There are so many divergent ways of thinking. These are the various imprints. So, the final point is that how to help each of the beings. And no matter how divergent your thinking is, no matter how rude the person is, everybody has a beautiful seed of perfection within. Everyone has a beautiful seed of perfection. So this seed of perfection can be nurtured, can be cultivated, and can make it manifest fully, that the individual becomes such a divine being. Everyone has that capacity. Okay, so with this mind, let's read this, page 14. Praise to Shakyamuni Buddha, to the founder, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the full destroyer, completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme God of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, subdued from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings and go for refuge. When, O supreme amongst humans, you are born on this earth, you pace our seven strides, then said, I am supreme in this world. To you who are wise, then I prostrate. With pure bodies, form supremely pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain, fame that blazes in the three worlds, winner of the best, Lord, to you I prostrate. With the supreme science, face like a spotless moon, color like gold, to you I prostrate. Just which give the three worlds are not, incompatible wise one, to you I prostrate. The Savior having great compassion, the Founder having all understanding, the field of merit with qualities like a vast ocean, to you that Tathagata prostrate. The purity that frees one from attachment, the virtue that frees one from the lower realms, the one path, the sublime pure reality, to the Dhamma that pacifies, are prostrate. Those who are liberated and also show the path to liberation, the holy field qualified with realizations, who are devoted to the moral precepts, to you the Sangha I prostrate. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions, perform only perfect virtuous actions, subdue your mind thoroughly. This is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a visual aberration, a flame of lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew or a bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud, see conditioned things as such. Through this marriage may sentient beings attain the rank of all-seeing, subdue the four faults, and be delivered from samsara's ocean, perturbed by the waves of the aging, sickness, and death. Okay, page 29, Heart Sutra. Okay, I'm going to quickly explain to you the Heart Sutra. The place where the Heart Sutra was taught is Rajgir. This is the place where we are going there. Perhaps day 5 or day 6, and so that is a place where many teachings were given by the Buddha. And as for the Heart Sutra, it falls in the category of the second turning of the wheel of Dharma, not the first. Second turning of the wheel of Dharma. What is the first, second, third? On what basis? These are the three turnings that we'll study in the class. And so there, the Buddha presided over the congregation, and Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva of compassion, Avalokiteshvara was on one side, and Shariputra on the other side, and the monks, the nuns, and the bodhisattvas and lay devotees, they were all there. And then the Buddha Shakyamuni was absorbed into the meditation on emptiness. And anybody, when he or she becomes a Buddha, your mind will have access to the two truths directly and simultaneously. The two truths, which means conventional world and ultimate reality both. So with this, while the Buddha is absorbed in the ultimate reality, emptiness, he also has a direct access to the conventional reality, conventional truth. So with this access, and the Buddha inspired, blessed and inspired Shariputra. And outwardly, when you look at the Buddha, you can see that the Buddha is immersed in meditation. But inwardly, the Buddha is immersed in meditation plus the having access to the conventional world. The Buddha inspired and blessed Shariputra, encouraged the Shariputra, blessed him to stand up and ask question to Avalokiteshvara. And meanwhile, Avalokiteshvara was also deeply contemplating on the reality, how everything is like dream. And there's nothing really there as the objective there to affect us, affect our mind, that our mind can be totally free to see that everything is like a dream. For example, say in your dream, you are being affected by the contents of the dream, like the nightmares, the dream ghosts, dream lines, and so forth. The dream earthquake, they affect you. The moment you wake up, knowing that this is all just dream, the dream contents will stop to affect you anymore. So you're being freed from being affected by the contents of dream the moment you wake up. So likewise, Avalokiteshvara was just contemplating how everything is like a dream. So meanwhile, Shariputra stood up, made prostration to the Buddha Shakyamuni, and then he turned towards Avalokiteshvara, made his salutation, and then asked his question. So while reading Heart Sutra, so they in Vulture Speak, where this actually happened, we're going to recite it together by reflecting on meanings. While reciting Heart Sutra, 3 points not to miss. Number 1, what is the question asked by Shariputra to Avalokiteshvara? What question did he ask? Number 1. Number 2, what is the response Avalokiteshvara gave to Shariputra? Number 2. Number 3, if we practice this wisdom as Avalokiteshvara taught, if we practice, what benefit we get? Number 3. What benefit we get if we practice the wisdom as taught by Avalokiteshvara in response to the question asked by Shariputra? Okay, number 1, what's number 1? What is the question asked by Shariputra to Avalokiteshvara? Number 2, what is the response Avalokiteshvara gave to the question asked by Shariputra? Number 2. Number 3, what's the benefit? What benefit we get if we practice as Avalokiteshvara taught in response to the question asked by Shariputra? So 3 things not to miss, and I'm going to quickly explain this to you here. The first, what is the question asked by Shariputra to Avalokiteshvara? The question asked is, how should a child of the Buddha, the child of the lineage, practice the perfection of wisdom? How should the child of the lineage practice the perfection of wisdom? What do you mean by child of the lineage? So let's say that the 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, even today, so look at some of the countries where the kingship, the monarch system, monarchy is still existent. So particularly in those days, like 2,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago, the young boy as a son of the king is considered very important. Why? Anyone? Anyone?
He would inherit the kingdom.
Yes, because finally he would inherit the kingdom, which means that he's going to become the king, the most important person in the kingdom. So, therefore, this lineage, he's holding the lineage of the kingship. He's holding the lineage of the kingship, and therefore he becomes so important. And what is more important, the lineage of the kings or the lineage of the Buddhas? Which is more important? The lineage of Buddhas. The lineage of the king, at the most you can, if you can help the one kingdom, and oftentimes not help, just abuse the people in most cases, right? Whereas when you become a Buddha, you benefit all the beings. It's not about Buddhism. It's not about Buddhism. You're able to benefit all the beings. The lineage of the Buddhas, lineage of the fully awakened one, that is the most important lineage. So, and although, for example, I cannot become the president. I wish I can become the president of Russia so that Russian-Ukraine war can stop. Right? But I cannot become the Russian president in this life. Right? I cannot become. So there must be some criteria there. You should be born as a Russian. This must be there. And of course, in America, you must be born there in America to be eligible to fight for the presidentship of America. So, but each one of us, whether you believe it or not, each one of us, we have the capacity to become Buddha. So therefore, each one of us, if we are committed, we can become the holder of the most important lineage of the fully awakened one. Okay. So, what do you mean by lineage of fully awakened one? When does it happen that you become the holder of the lineage? Is that, okay, Kabirji, your mom, she can sit in a shade. There's a direct light there. Okay. The thing is that when you make the commitment that I will become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings, I will make my seed of perfection manifest. So when you say I will become Buddha, it doesn't mean that I will become a Buddhist. No, right? So in fact, one time, one of my friends called me up one early morning and said, Geshe, I'm going to give up Buddhism. I said, okay, fine. And said, yes, I'm going to give up Buddhism. I said, okay, fine. And then she was so insistent. Then I said, may I know the reason? And she said that with a tinge of what? The anger or frustration. He said, I'm going to give up Buddhism. I said, okay, fine, what's the reason? She said that for the last 3 years, I prayed to Buddha, I prayed to Aritara, and my prayers are not answered. And I said, okay, what's the prayer? And she said that all these 3 years I prayed to Buddha, Tara, that my brother should get a job. And he never got a job. I'm going to give up Buddhism. I said that, I see now I came to know the reason why you became a Buddhist, to get a job for your brother. If you want a brother to get a job, if you are hungry, don't become a Buddhist, go to kitchen. I said, don't become a Buddhist, go to kitchen if you're hungry. If your brother wants a job, don't become a Buddhist. Tell your brother, right, don't go to the pubs, don't go to the nightclubs. Instead, prepare for this competitive exams. Prepare, be a decent boy, study well, prepare for these competitive exams, crack the exams and get a decent work. You don't have to become Buddhist, I told her. So this is where we should be very realistic and practical. So when we say that my seed of perfection becomes manifest, it doesn't mean that you become a Buddhist. This is not the point. The point is that your potential must manifest fully. So whether you call yourself Buddhist, non-Buddhist, it doesn't matter. Finally, you should be a happy person. You should be somebody who feel the happiest and who is able to export happiness to other people. That is important. To make the world happier, to make in the first place, forget about becoming Buddhist, learn how to make your family a happier family. That the family, domestic violence, abuse must stop. If you can contribute to this is the mark of your success of you being a human being. So this should be the purpose, not the purpose should not be for you to become Buddhist. So this is what we need to keep in mind. Okay, so with this, that how should the child of the lineage practice perfectional wisdom? So once you make the commitment that may I become a Buddha, it doesn't mean that may I become a Buddhist, Buddha meaning that where you become fully awakened. Anybody can be fully awakened, provided you follow the proper steps. May I become the fully awakened one. This meaning of may I become a Buddha. So, the moment you make this commitment, you become the lineage holder of this, the most precious lineage. So, as a lineage holder, you have a responsibility. When you say that, may I become Buddha. So what are you going to do? You have to do something to become a Buddha, not just make a commitment, right? You have to do something to make this aspiration materialize. And what should you do? So, Shariputra asked this question, how should the child of a lineage practice the perfection of wisdom? So, what makes you enlightened is by practicing the perfection of wisdom. How should you practice this? So this is a question asked by Shariputra, and then the response given by Avalokiteshvara was that yes, the wisdom perfection has to be, one has to train in this wisdom through seeing everything as like dream. That everything is coming from your own mind, nothing objectively real, everything's seen like a dream. So when you see the dream as dream, in the dream or outside dream, when you see the dream as dream, inside the dream or outside dream? Okay, inside the dream you see the dream as real, and then there's so much of fear. Dream is dream, only when you wake up, oh, it was dream. So you see dream as dream, only when you wake up. So, to see everything as a dream, you should wake up from the sleep of ignorance. The question is, how to wake up from the sleep of ignorance? This is the question. So, Avalokiteshvara explained how to wake up from the sleep of ignorance. In other words, he explained how everything is like a dream. Okay, this is number 2. And he went into great detail how everything is like a dream. How everything is coming from you, the projection on your mind. And of course, some of the beginners here, you may have many questions. Oh, if everything is coming from my mind, then how can I explain the external things? How can I explain the people around me? Are they part of my mind or they are really there? All these questions are there. So let us have little patience. We have to, major part, the reason why we are here is to learn how to see everything as a dream, and that too not through blind faith, all through rational thinking. And the good thing about the dreamlike nature is that this can be established, this can be well reflected in your mind through rational thinking, not through blind faith. There's no room for blind faith pertaining to the understanding that everything is like a dream. Once you realize this, then you become very confident that this is a path, this is the meaning of my life, and this is exactly how everything is like dream. There's nothing objectively real. This was what Buddha Shakyamuni was meditating on when Buddha was under the Bodhi tree, when he became enlightened. This was what he was meditating. So, and this is ultimately what will save us from the miseries of samsara. Okay. And then the third point not miss is what's the benefit? The benefit is that all our fears of samsara will dissolve. The moment you wake up, just as when you wake up from you wake up from the sleep, all the fears of the fears from the nightmare stops the moment you wake up. Likewise, you wake up from the sleep of ignorance, all your fears will dissolve. Fears of samsara will dissolve. Okay, and this wisdom which allows you to free yourself from all the fears of life, this wisdom is described as the only gateway through which all the Buddhas of the past, present and future, they tread on. This is the only gateway through which all the Buddhas of the 3 times entered to reach to the destination of the total fearlessness and infinite happiness for yourself and for all the beings. Okay, with this we'll recite from page 29. The Heart Sutra, the Perfection of the Wisdom Sutra. I prostrate to the irretrievable gem. Thus did I hear at one time, the Buddha was dwelling on Masa Vulture's mountain in Rajgriha, together with a great community of monks and a great community of bodhisattvas. At that time, the Buddha was absorbed in the concentration on the categories of phenomena called profound illumination. Also at that time, the Bodhisattva, Mahasattva, Aravalokiteshvara looked upon the very practice of the profound illumination of wisdom and beheld those five aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. The Venerable Shariputra said this to the Bodhisattva, Mahasattva, Aravalokiteshvara: how should any child of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom train? He said that, and the Bodhisattva, Mahasattva, Aravalokiteshvara said this to the Venerable Shariputra: Shariputra, any son of the lineage or daughter of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom should look upon it like this, correctly and repeatedly, beholding those five aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Form is empty, emptiness is form. Emptiness is not other than form, form is also not other than emptiness. In the same way, failing, discrimination, composite factors, consciousness empty. Shariputra, likewise, all phenomena are empty, without characteristic, unproduced, unceased, stainless, not without stain, not deficient, not fulfilled. Shariputra, therefore, in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no composite factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no visual form, no sound, no smell, no taste, no object of touch, and no phenomenon. There is no I element, and so on, up to and including no mind element or no mental consciousness element. There is no ignorance, no extinction of ignorance, and so on, up to and including no aging and death, and no extinction of aging and death. Similarly, there is no suffering or origination, cessation path. There is no exalted wisdom, no attainment, and also no non-attainment. Shariputra, therefore, because there is no attainment, Bodhisattvas rely on and dwell in the perfection of wisdom, the mind without obscuration, and thus without fear. Having completely passed beyond error, they reach the end point of nirvana. All the Buddhas who dwell in three times, also manifestly completely awakened to unsurpassable, perfect, complete enlightenment and reliance on the perfection of wisdom. Therefore, the mantra of the perfection of wisdom, the mantra of great knowledge, unsurpassed mantra, mantra equal to the unequaled, the mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering, should be known as truth, since if not false. The mantra of the perfection of wisdom is declared: Deyatha Om Gade Bara Sam Gade Bodhi Swaha. Shariputra, the Bodhisattva, Mahasattva should train in the profound perfection of wisdom like that. Then the Buddha arose from their concentration and commanded the Bodhisattva, Mahasattva, Aravalokiteshvara, saying, well said, son of the lineage, it is like that, it is like that. One should practice the profound perfection of wisdom, just as you have indicated. Even the Tathagatas rejoice. The Buddha, having thus spoken, the Venerable Shariputra, the Bodhisattva, Mahasattva, Aravalokiteshvara, those surrounding the entirety, along with the Gandhas, were overjoyed and highly praised that spoken by the Buddha. Okay, we'll chant this together, the Heartfelt Mantra. And this, again, is not just a simple mantra. It is a deep, deep, deep meaning. And okay, so during the course of teaching, I'm just wondering if there's another person who would remind me to explain this mantra. Raise hands. Okay. They don't know one person take all the responsibilities. It's very scary. But if that person is gone, everything is gone. Okay, one here. Your name? Chelsea, yes, Chelsea, and okay, new hands. Ajikibala, Chanjula, okay, let's say Omala. Okay. Your name? Isar. Okay, make sure that you identify these people. Right? Okay, this is we need to know the meaning of this. And so basically it is, they say in a very cursory form, it simply means that we should not remain as ordinary. What is ordinary, what is enlightened, is your mental state. Your mind remaining as it is. So, okay, some people, okay, I'm not being harmful to anybody, I'm being gentle, I don't need dharma, because I'm already kind, right? So some people say like this is too naive. So finally, are you 100% happy? Don't you have any problems? So this is, some people, they just live in what you call as live in the moment, right? In negative way. They forgot the past experience. They don't plan for the future. And they just say, okay, I'm okay, because I'm okay now, right? So this is not what you should be. You be able to know the past, know the future, know the present. And knowing this, then don't you have any problems in your life? This question. If you have problems, then the Buddha, with this mantra, is advising us that don't remain in this problem like this forever, because you have the treasure of perfection within you. This is not your problems, this is not your real nature. Your real nature is totally free of problems. Your real nature is infinite happiness. It's not just a story, it's not just the fairy tales. So some people, they say, no, you are Buddha, you are, you are the full awakened one. No, that's not true. If you're not, if you're a full awakened one, why should you have to create problem on others? Each one of us, we create problem on others, right? But we see other people creating problem on us, right? Oh, that's a problem, that's a problem. But for the other person, you are the problem, right? So if you're a perfect person, why should you create problem on others? Okay, so the point is that it's not true. We should be very realistic. So by being in this class, just keep in mind, the first thing that you have to come in mind is that we should be realistic. We should be realistic. We should know who you are. Don't come with the belief that I'm a Buddha, Don't come with the belief that I'm the perfect one, That we come with the belief that I should be realistic. You're getting it? This is how we have to come. That I have so much problems. I have problems. You're getting it? This is so important. Some people, they, in some of the retreats, some people, they come, they already came with some baggage from the past, learnings. They already learn about that you are you are perfect, you have no problem, you are the omniscient one, right? And all this philosophy, they come, and you are not omniscient one. Again, when it says that, oh, the breakfast is over, there's no breakfast left, then you become so angry, the omniscient becomes so angry. It's so unrealistic. We should be very realistic. You have to acknowledge who you are. Don't just come up with a philosophy. Come with a realistic being. Only when you see when the philosophy reflected in your realistic being, that's fine, that's wonderful. If that is not reflected, don't bring the philosophy, keep the philosophy behind. Be realistic, right? Be realistic, and this is how we discover your seed of perfection within you. By being realistic, then what you see is the reals. Otherwise, whatever we talk is like the picture of pizza. You're hungry? You said, yes, I'm very hungry, right? Well, I'll give you pizza, and then you bring a picture of pizza. This is a picture of pizza, this is not real pizza, right? So, when will you get a real pizza? Only when you are realistic. Meaning, you go to the kitchen, right? Don't talk about pizza all the time. And take a photo of pizza and then give it to you. No, go to the kitchen, prepare the pizza, and take it out from the oven, and then, eat it fresh. So this is a real pizza. We should be realistic. Only if you are realistic, you will see that you will see a purpose of life. Otherwise, some people, they talk about saying, okay, let's say that on the they said, oh, I'm being trained in this kind of tradition. What tradition? Traditional healing, right? And I'm an expert healer. And then, okay, I give coaching on healing. You sit with the person for a little longer, and the person will share with you her problems, his problems, right? You heal your problem first, before you teach others how to heal. Heal your problem first. You listen to the person so well, there's so many problems. So this is when you are being very unrealistic. When unrealistic, what you teach will not help you. And you teach healing. and you have so much problem yourself. And then some of them very honest, they ask me, right, Geshe, can you do something? I have this problem. You heal this problem first before you teach others, before you conduct the coaching on healing. You're getting it? Okay, so this is a contradiction. All because that we are not realistic. We should be very realistic. You're getting it? Okay. So with this, is saying that be realistic, and then you will discover your true nature. Once you discover the true nature, then remove the dirt. Keep removing the dirt. Keep removing the mental defilement. As you remove the mental defilement more, the gold inside will start to glow more and more. You're right? So this mantra indicates 5 steps by which the gold inside will glow more and more through removing the mental dirt step by step. Okay, we'll say this together the 5 times. Teata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswatyata 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 Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswaha. By the teachings of the 3 supreme jewels possessing the power of truth, may inner and outer hindrances be transformed, may they be dispelled, may they be non-existent, may they be pacified, may all negative forces opposed to the Dharma be completely pacified, may the host of 80,000 obstacles be pacified, may we be separated from problems and conditions harmful to the Dharma, may all enjoyments be in accord with the Dharma, may all specialness and perfect happiness pervade this place now. Okay, when we clapped, how many of you just wondered why they are clapping? Raise hands. How many wondered that? Raise hands, raise your hands. How many wondered why they are clapping? Why clapping? Okay. Oh. Okay. So there are several of you who just wonder why. What's this clapping? Okay. And so there are many of us who have been clapping all this in the last many years. Right? You ask them. And I want to get the answers from the newcomers, who I expect to get answers from, others who have been clapping this for the last many years. Right? Okay, I'm sure that Asikibala, Chola Vistujila, Chola Tudensola, and many of you have been clapping, right? Okay, the Tenzi Dongala should learn from your two parents. You know, why they're clapping, right? Okay, so all these we have to know the reasons. It's not just random, it's not the ritual, we have to know the reasons. You're getting it? I'm just checking. Those people who have been clapping all these many years, whether you know the reason, right? Okay. Next we will turn to, we will turn to page 42, the foundation of all good qualities. Page 42, the foundation of all good qualities. Okay, this is like the roadmap roadmap for us. What we said is the Gade, Para Samgade, Bodhiswaha. And the literal translation is go, Tatyatha. This is the original Sanskrit is Tatyatha. In Tibetan, people read it as Teyatha. Actually, it should be Tatyatha, but it's fine. Okay. Teyatha or Tatyatha means here is thus. Here is thus. Gade, go. Paragade, go beyond. Parasamgade, go utterly beyond. Bodhiswaha, establish your full awakening. Okay, go beyond, go utterly beyond, and establish your full awakening. Let me say this again. Tatyatha is, here is thus. Here is how we have to follow the path to infinite happiness and fearlessness. How? Gate, paragate, parasamgate, bodhiswaha. The 5 steps are there. 5 steps through which we purify our mental defilements, that the true nature of your mind will come out. So what are they? Gate, the first gate is go. Second gate, again go. Then third gate, that is paragate, is go beyond. The next one is parasangate, go utterly beyond. Go utterly beyond. Go beyond, go utterly beyond, and establish your full awakening. Okay, in other words, saying that don't remain in the fears of life anymore. From the state of the fears, from the state of imperfection, go towards the perfection in 5 steps. And what are these 5 steps? It's a path of accumulation. Okay, don't worry, I'm not going to even identify what they are now. So this is what we're going to study. The Chelsea and others will remind us to explain the meaning of this mantra. Right? And the path of accumulation, so forth, meaning that the 5 steps, 5 stages through which, by which you remove your mental defilements to make the Buddha nature inside manifest more and more. Okay, so how to do that? How to do that? So here is the roadmap, the foundation of all good qualities. There are only just 14 verses there, and the author of the text, Lama Tsongkhapa, here, Lama Tsongkhapa is here, and 14th century great master, and most of our, all of what we are studying the next 7 days on bodhicitta, wisdom and emptiness, is all more like coming from Lama Tsongkhapa, his explanations of the Arya-Nagarjuna's works, which in turn are the interpretations of the Buddha's own teachings. And the bodhicitta part, primarily we are getting from the Lama Adisha Devangara Shirikyanam, 11th century AD, who in turn received all these teachings from Lama Selingpa, the great Indonesian master. Lama Selingpa. Okay, Lama Selingpa happened. Lama Adisha was also a prince, and the Selingpa was also a prince in Indonesia. And Lama Adisha, he was so well-renowned master here in India, and him hearing about the fame and hearing about the purity, authenticity, the purity of the practice of Lama Selingpa in Indonesia, he became so moved that he headed towards Sri Lanka, Indonesia, to receive this teaching on bodhicitta from this the Lama Selingpa. And the Lama Adisha, of course, in India, he was already like one of the top-notch scholars and top-notch enlightened beings. But as there's a Tibetan expression which says "keba kebe nane ze," which means that the masters are seen as masters by their other masters. So he himself is a great master here in India, and then hearing the authenticity and the purity of the practice of this great teacher in Indonesia, he headed towards India, and Indonesia to receive teachings from him. So, and what we are doing now is all what he inherited from this great Indonesian prince, Lama Selingpa, who in turn received all these teachings that are traceable back to the Buddha. Okay, so These are the 14 lines which Lama Tsongkhapa composed, and as a commentary, not really as a commentary, more like his own works. They are like, in English, there are 3 huge volumes. 3 volumes are there to explain just these 14 verses. In other words, these 14 verses, they are like the summary of these 3 volumes which he composed. Okay, let's read this together. The foundation of all good qualities is a kind and perfect pure Guru. Correct devotion to him is the root of the path. By clearly seeing this and applying great effort, please bless me to rely upon him with great respect. Understanding that the precious freedom of this rebirth is found only once, is greatly meaningful and is difficult to find again. Please bless me to generate the mind that unceasingly day and night takes its essence. This life is as impermanent as a water bubble. Remember how quickly it decays and death comes. After death, just like a shadow follows the body, the results of virtuous and non-virtuous karmas follow. Finding firm and definite conviction in this, please bless me always to be careful, to abandon even the slightest negativity and accomplish all virtuous deeds. Samsaric splendors are unsatisfying and unreliable. Seeking them is the door to all suffering. Recognizing these shortcomings, please bless me to generate a strong wish for the bliss of liberation. Led by this pure thought, mindfulness, alertness, and great caution arise. The root of the teaching is keeping the Pratimoksha vows. Please bless me to accomplish this essential practice. Just as I have fallen into receive samsara, so have all mother migratory beings. Please bless me to say this, trained in Supreme Bodhicitta, and bear the responsibility of freeing migratory beings. Even if I've developed bodhicitta, but I don't practice it, the 3 lifetimes of morality, I'll not achieve enlightenment. Please bless me to practice bodhisattva vows with great energy. Once I've pacified distractions to wrong objects and correctly analyzed the meaning of reality, please bless me to generate quickly within my mind stream the unified path of karma abiding special insight. Having become a pure vessel by training in the general path, please bless me to enter the holy gateway of the fortunate ones, the supreme Vajra of Eagle. At that time, the basis of accomplishing the 2 attainments is keeping pure vows and samaya. As if I've become firmly convinced of this, please bless me to protect these vows and place like my life. Then, having realized the importance of the 2 stages, the essence of Vajrayana, by practicing with great energy, never giving up the 4 sessions, please bless me to realize the teachings of the Holy Guru. Like that, may the Gurus who show the noble path and spiritual friends who practice it have long lives. Please bless me to pacify completely all outer and inner hindrances. In all my lives, never separate from perfect Gurus, may enjoy the magnificent Dharma by completing the qualities of the stages and the paths, may fully attain the state of Vajratara. Okay, next we'll recite the Mixama mantra. So this mantra, I'm going to give a quick background of this. That this mantra was initially composed by Lama Tsongkhapa himself. Lama Tsongkhapa, the same teacher, he composed this as a praise to his own teacher, his own teacher. And the Lama Tsongkhapa, he equated his teacher to the 3 perfect qualities of the Buddha: perfect love, perfect knowledge, and perfect power. The 3 perfect qualities. We have to remember these. When you say, may I become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings, you are saying that, may I be perfected in these 3 qualities. What are they? Perfect love, perfect knowledge, and perfect power. Okay, let's not forget these. And the perfect love is manifested in the form of Aravalokiteshvara. There, the Buddha of compassion or the Bodhisattva of compassion. And then the perfect wisdom manifested in the form of Arimanjushri. There over there, Arimanjushri, to the extreme side of this, to the extreme, your right side, Arimanjushri, the perfection of wisdom manifested in the form of Bodhisattva of compassion and Bodhisattva of wisdom. Then the perfect power manifested in the form of the Vajrapani, so depicted there, on this with Arimanjushri there. Yes, Arimanjushri, the main yellow, the central figure. Then below, to your extreme right side, below, down, extreme right side with the blue color, wrathful aspect. That is the Arya Vajrapani. And I don't know why, the people depicted Arya Vajrapani is very wrathful. Yes, the power, but Arya Vajrapani, when you read the anecdotes of Arya Vajrapani, it's not that wrathful, but it can appear in wrathful aspect out of skillfulness to the devoted beings. But otherwise, he manifests such incredible compassion, and these are all the skillful appearances to tame others. That is Arya Vajrapani, symbolic of, not symbolic, the manifestation of the perfect power. And then the teacher, Jisun Rendo Shunlode, he read the piece, the praise to him, and then he erased his own name. He erased his own name, and replaced it with his own student's name, Lama Tsongkhapa's name, and said that this praise fits better with you rather than with me. And then it became so, they say, the widely being said all over in Tibet. So we'll say this, chant this 3 times together. And when we chant this in Tibetan, first we'll read this in English, followed by the chant in Tibetan. When we chant in Tibetan, and just to accommodate the melody, we skip the 3rd line in Tibetan. Okay, first we say this in English. You are Avalokiteshvara, great treasure of non-referential compassion, and Manjushri, master of flawless wisdom, and irreversible Vajrapani, destroyed hordes of demons without exception. Tsongkhapa, crown jewel of the sages of the land of snows, lost on Tapa, at your feet I make prostrations. Okay, now we will end with the direction prayer. From tomorrow we will do it more complete. Today is not complete, it requires better explanation. Okay, yes, we'll end with direction prayer. From tomorrow we'll have also the meditation. Meditation will be also included there from tomorrow. And for the light offerings, in the mornings, let's make it a little quicker, to make sure that we save time for the main practice. Okay, page 52. Page 52, 5-2. Okay. Let us dedicate the merits thus gathered, that His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the true source of joy and happiness on this earth, that he lives long and that his wishes be fulfilled spontaneously. And of course, in December, his son is going to be here in Bodh Gaya to give teachings, and that will be wonderful if we can be here for this teaching. Those of us who do have time, let's keep this in your mind, that in your calendar, December, towards the end, his son will be here to give teachings. Okay. And let's also pray that the great, brilliant thoughts, the philosophical thoughts, the wisdom of emptiness, and incredible great compassion, which the Buddha on this earth, planet Earth taught, the universal compassion for all the beings. For example, like, say, there's some belief that animals, they are, like our food. But the Buddha knows every creature is so important. Every creature is precious. Even a tiny insect is very precious. So we are not to harm them. And the Buddha is very realistic. Okay, these are the little things that come to my mind. I like to share with you just on the spot because it may skip from my mind. And Buddha is very realistic. Realistic meaning that they say that when we say that this is important, then sometimes we go to the extremes. Buddha is extremely realistic. So, and Buddha said that when creating the rules for the monastics, that you are not entitled to harm the animals, including insects. Then the question arises: how do we drink the water? Water we have to get from the river in those days, the river, and then the Buddha taught. Look, Buddha extremely realistic, very smart, extremely realistic, knowing that some people are not too smart. So the Buddha said, don't harm the animals, including the insects, the worms, or the creatures in the water. Then Buddha even taught how to use the water. So Buddha said that in those days, I think even the glasses were available in those days. So Buddha said that use something like glass, and first put the water from the surface of the river and look at it and see if there's any creature. If you don't see the creature, then you dip it from the middle of the river, middle of the water, the level, middle, and see if there's any creature. If not, then go to the bottom and take water and see if there's creature. If there's no creature, then you can drink it. And then some of the more like the monks who are intelligent, they ask a question. But what about those people? What about those the monastics who already have the clairvoyance, who don't require these things, who can just through the clairvoyance, part of the clairvoyance, they can look at the river to see if there's creature. Buddha said, don't use the clairvoyance. And the reason why, if you use the clairvoyance, Buddha said you are bound to see creatures there. Then you will die. You cannot drink water at all. So just use your naked eyes, and if you don't see the creature, that's good enough. He is so realistic. And of course, yes, today, the modern science, through the very powerful microscopes, say even in the eyes, for all these millions of years, eyes, there you can see the tiny microbes moving. So what about the regular water, the river? Of course, there are so many creatures there. So if you look at through clairvoyance. So the Buddha said, don't use the clairvoyance. If you use this, then nobody can drink water, everybody's going to die, and your life will be wasted. Otherwise, your life, you have the potential to become the Buddha, to benefit innumerable sentient beings. Why should you waste this potential? So, from your side, cultivate yourself. Be very realistic, and where with your naked eyes, if you don't see the creatures there, that's good enough. You can use the water. Okay, this is very practical. Okay, with this in mind, let's pray that the teaching of the Buddha on compassion, the wisdom of emptiness, flourish everywhere in the world, in the minds of all sentient beings, so that they become, each one of us knows how to, lead a very harmless life, a purposeful life, and happy life for yourself, for others. And may the Ukraine war stop as soon as possible. May all these border tensions all over the world stop. May all the people who died to COVID-19, may all the people who died otherwise as well, let's pray that they take favorable birth to meet with the teaching of Buddha, teaching of compassion, teaching of the wisdom, so that each one of them becomes such a reliable guide to lead all the demon sentient beings to the ultimate happiness. So with this mind, let's do the following verses. I dedicate the merit thus gathered towards the realization that deeds and the prayers of the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas of the 3 times, and to the holding of the doctrine of scripture and insight. May in all lives, through the force of this merit, never separate from the 4 wheels of the Mahayana vehicle, and accomplish all the stages of the path, renunciation, bodhicitta, perfect in the 2 stages. From our 2 collections, vast space that have amassed from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds, wisdom, eyes blinded by ignorance. Deyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhiswatyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhiswatyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhiswatyata